Africa boyamba banagoba baemba ka misiki musala obele koketengo milembo tosali mobembo ya sanza moko na ndambo tosokola mai ya ebale ya sai.
Tobacco is Malawi's #1 export, and it earns over 50% of total export revenue. It is a crop that is grown on a large scale, mainly in the central and northern region of the country. For this crop to be of good quality and to attract a good price at the market, there is always hard labour involved. Tobacco is a crop that requires a lot of inputs. Many estates own tenants who work all season and are paid after the sales. These people are subjected to so many injustices. In 1995, a tenancy labour bill was drafted, following pressures from the tobacco tenants and allied workers of Malawi. The bill was supposed to regulate all the transactions between landowners and tenants. This bill has still not been passed by Parliament after more than 10 years. Father Jos Coupens explains how the tenancy system works in Malawi.
The people who work on tobacco farms are actually there as a kind of serfs, like it used to be in the Middle Ages in Europe, which basically means it's another milder form of slavery, because they work for the landlord. They get some food from the landlord, the inputs, etc. But all the produce that they produce has to go to the landlord. And then at the end, they receive some benefits. The exploitation is rather big. And because of that, there is the need that the tenancy system is somehow regulated, so the tenants have a possibility to get redress when they feel oppressed.
Many tenants suffer a lot. Their pay at the end of the growing season is not equivalent to the services that they offer at their estates. It is only the landlords who benefit much. Many tenants of the central region explain the misery they encounter at their respective estates. One of the main problems we face is that there is no written or formal agreement between us and the farmers. Things are like in the prisons. We don't feel free. It is like in the past when we were slaves. There was no written agreement between us and the landlord. We do not even know how much our tobacco is going to be sold for. They give us 20 kilograms of maize every Friday, but this amount of food is not enough for our families. It is always finished before Friday, and we starve a lot. We do not know how much they are going to deduct us for food. These are some of the reasons why the Centre for Social Concern got involved with tobacco tenants in Malawi.
This all started as a Justice and Peace project of the Justice and Peace Commission of Nkota. There was need for a new law, and they started already working on that from about 92, I think. We took up the cause of the tenants because we worked with the tenancy union. There's a TOTAWM, Tenancy Labor in Malawi Union, and we have been working with them, trying to help them to get already under the present circumstances as much as possible the rights of the tenants observed.
From the study conducted, there is no tenant who finds life easy. Our financial complaints are never heard. As a result, I was forced to get 2,000 kwacha credit, which I will pay back 4,000 kwacha. The small sticks we used to hang our tobacco leaves were bought at 10 kwacha each. When one tenant accidentally breaks one stick, he is deducted 500 kwacha from his tobacco sales. I have no future and I have nowhere to go. With the presence of the Tenants' Labour Bill, there may be some benefits, and it is the hope of many people that the life of tenants may change for the better.
I think that probably one of the things that would be helpful is that there will be certain rules laid down on both sides, on the side of the tenants and on the side of the landlord. The landlord is not allowed to take people in without any kind of written contract. There should be written contracts. And so there's a number of things that are there, questions of schooling, questions of access to health, question of access to good water, housing. A number of these things, they are laid down in the bill where the landlord has to assure that these are there for the tenants. And on the other hand, the tenant then takes it upon himself to sell all his produce or to handle all his produce over to the landlord. Yes. And then the landlord binds himself that a reasonable amount of money should go from his sales of tobacco back to the tenant, so that both of them can be happy and progress. One of the important things that the bill also regulates is child labor. So it helps to stop child labor, and if the tobacco industry is to survive in Malawi, then they have to do away with child labor, because the American government, among one of the buyers, at one moment was almost ready to stop buying tobacco in Malawi because of the fact of child labor. That bill indeed will help, I think, that the tenants will get a better living condition, better working condition, and in the end get also better remuneration for the work that they are doing.
One farmer points out why child labour is so significant to his farming. I have about 3 of them. I pay them about 2,500 kwacha a month and about 12,000 kwacha a year. I employ these young ones because they are so docile. Even if I pay them less than 2,500 a month, they still find it a sum of money so big, unlike the older ones. Many of the children I employ come due to poverty and from orphanages. Last year I did not pay them the agreed sum of money due to poor sales at the auction, but this year I will pay them as we have agreed. I cannot give them a chance to go to school. They are here to work for me. They will be free to go to school upon their return to their respective homes. It is not only the tenants who suffer, but also casual labourers.
We normally receive our wages after 20 days, but sometimes we receive the wages 2 or 3 weeks later than the agreed time. I have got 2 children, and together with my wife, we have been surviving on pumpkins all this time while waiting for our wages from the boss.
It is true that the living and working conditions for tenants on the tobacco estates are not fair. Tenants have to travel longer distances in search of water. In some estates, there are no boreholes at all, and tenants are subjected to contaminated water. Many tenants experience very harsh treatment when tobacco is ready for marketing. They are always intimidated and have no way to respond. The labour offices do not help them with much, due to the absence of written documents and the regulations that were agreed at the beginning of the growing season.
If more people get a better salary, the economy at the grassroots will have more inputs, a bit more money that can be spent, which will help the economy at the grassroots to grow. On the side of the landlord, I think that they can hold up their heads tall and say, we are treating the people that work for us in the best possible way that we can with the means that we have.
By passing the Tenants' Labour Bill, many people hope that this will contribute economically to the life of the individual tenants, the landlord himself, as well as Malawi being a nation that gets a large income from the crop.
Malawi, pembene longi kontenga 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 yo kontenga kontenga yo kontenga kontenga